What's up everyone, Terrestrian here, and I'm here to show you how I use the APC Key 25 and the MPK Mini on FL Studio. Let's go. Now, my whole goal here is just to show you the settings and basically everything that I can remember. So if you have a question about something that I covered in this video, uh, make sure you comment down below, cause I might forget something. I'm a dunce. Who knows? Alright, so, first things first. Um, the main goal over here, the APC Key 25. Now, as you can see here, it shows that I have the APC Key 25, but it's not activated. That is because I'm using a program called MIDI aux. If I can pull up the program here, MIDI aux and loop B1. So I'm going to show you MIDI aux first. I covered this in my previous video, so basically making a TLDR, I MIDI mapped the buttons from the key 25 to the correct notes that I need for performance mode. So on the input it says that I have a G sharp, but on the output I actually have a C0, G sharp 2, C0. And what that allows me to do is to actually let me use these pads as if they were C0, C sharp 0, so on and so forth. So, for example, let me just put up thing over here, pad 1, pad 2. Alright, so I use my APC Key 25. Don't let the lights fool you, because they don't really work. They work, they just don't really work the same way. They just turn on and stay on unless you find a way to script them and turn them off. Anyways, so you have the Key 25 and you have your project here, and you basically I have the patterns mapped to these two top buttons right here. So if I go to press play, it'll show that I'm actually pressing the pad 1 and then the pad 2, and then when I go to pad 3 it just stops on the 4. Pad 1, pad 2, pad 3, and then so on and so forth. So that's basically what I did with the Key 25 in order to make it able to be used in FL Studio in performance mode. Now you can use the keys, that's no problem. You could just mess with the keys all you want. That's fine. I just prefer to use all of my hardware, all of my buttons, everything that I have to its full potential. Now, so it has to go through loop B MIDI or another MIDI driver of your choice. It could be Script Hook, I think. I think there was one called Script Hook or something like that. Script something, I forgot. Script MIDI script, I forgot. I forget. But the one that I was introduced to when I was using MIDI aux was Loop B internal MIDI. And basically you have to have that on, because otherwise if you enable the Key 25 it's not going to work and it'll give you this message, because all the memory that's being used for this one is being used on this input output driver thing. You already know about the ASIO, but if you want to know a little bit more about it, buffer lengths are basically the lower you go, think of it as, I guess, frames per second. So you have, you can only play, like, let's say this is like a VSync cap for 256 FPS, for example, when you can run 2048 FPS. So basically what this is basically limiting down your quality, so that you can just basically perform faster. I like to use the lowest one because it gives me as it gives me 0 underruns, but also it's the quickest that I can go and just quickly do something. It's also recommended to keep it like this when you're recording too. When you're recording vocals or anything live, that's pretty much it that you need to use. The input and output, that's basically from your obvious. General, I know I did some things. Default template, I don't know if you guys know this, but you can actually save the template so that every time you open FL Studio, it'll open up as like whatever you save it as. So in order to do that, basically when you do this, you go and make your template. You know, basically, if you want to have just, you know, the patcher and the FPC like I do because I have the MPK MIDI. And I don't want all the kick, snare, clap, hi-hat all in one. I could delete that or move it to the FPC and then delete it. And after that, I go to save. Usually this, I forgot what's this link, this area, I guess you can say. This place that you can actually save it. You have to save it on the templates folder. So I have it in a different local disk because this is a different hard drive. But PC, program files, image line, program files 86, you gotta remember that. FL Studio 20, I have a bunch of different ones because I don't like getting rid of my stuff. I'm kind of a hoarder in that aspect. And then data and templates. I like to go in performance because that's what I'm using. So performance, and then you type down template. I already typed that down, and then save. And every time you open FL Studio, when you have it in this setting, the default template setting, it'll always open up like that. I like to detach all plugins because I like to have all my plugins in my face. That kind of seems overwhelming at first, but I just don't like it when I'm clicking on one of VST and then the other one disappears, and then the other one disappears when I'm trying to. It just becomes too much, so I just stop doing that. This is important. This is very important for anyone first starting out FL Studio or first starting out using automation clips. So this clip right here, this little tab on the project options and project info, or just project settings, general settings, you go to this advanced tab and you press play truncated notes and clips. Basically what that does is make it so that when, let's say, I want to create an automation clip like this, and just do that. So basically when I'm starting up the automation, you can see it's going up, but when you go to like another place, it won't go back to like it won't go back to regular. It'll stay in this area before you actually use it. So that's very useful when you're trying to do stuff and you have automations to do and you're just trying to not have to deal with all of these macros and stuff. It's a very good thing to have. General settings, this is where you do your time signatures. Numerator, denominator, you can look those up. Info, and that's it. That's pretty much all I'm gonna show you guys from that. So when I first start off a project, I like to have a patcher, because what patcher is basically you can basically have everything that you have on the VST, and you can add all different types of effects on it. So let's say I already have a delay, but screw it, I'm gonna make another delay. So I unlink the yellow to the yellow, and then I relink the yellow to the yellow, like that. Unlink yellow from Flex to FL Studio, and link it Flex to delay, and then link delay to FL Studio. That means that it'll go from your MIDI keyboard to FL Studio to the VST to the effect back out into FL Studio. So it's a pretty hard thing to grasp, but I really like it for the simple fact that you can do as much effects as possible, and you can save your effect slots for something more useful, I guess, or something more non-essential to the sound, I guess. So if I were to take, they also have volume bars too, so if you want to take the delay, oh, actually that cut it all off. Okay, interesting. So, it has these volume bars, so if you want to basically just cut off the sound at a certain point, at any certain point, could be from FL Studio, no, it can't be from FL Studio, but it can be from the VST to anything else, or from all of that to FL Studio. You can just cut it off. So let me just make a difference. And boom. There's already a difference, you can tell. That's just one of my favorite toys to play with when it comes to that. Now going to performance mode now. I like to have at least like 8 measures so that I can have something to work with, because if you just have something like this, it's only going to play this little bit and you won't be able to fully play out like a measure or something that you want. So I decided to basically stretch out all the pads to 8 bars so that I can have something to work with. With the FPC, I wanted to keep things simple, so these pads over here are linked to my MPK Mini, which for some reason is not playing. But it's still playing for some reason. It's not letting me do anything from it. But you can actually have it. Let me just unlock this so you can see. So in order to have, you can split the priorities, I guess, of the pads when it comes to actually playing. So let's say you want to actually just have the drums out, and then you also want to play the keyboard from the same drums on the MPK Mini. So what you would want to do is that you can go to right click on the FPC, receive notes from, and then MPK Mini 2. Now I go back to it again because it selected all the channels, but I don't want that. I just want channel 1. And it will work. It's just not letting me for some reason. That's why my port was on 0, I think, amongst other things. But yeah, it's supposed to be playing. So if I wanted to record something, it wasn't recording, and I just made a fool of myself. Okay. So I did that, and Control Q to quantize. It's not always going to be exactly accurate, but when you get some more practice in, you'll be able to make things more accurate. So I have my recorded things. So if I wanted to play this, I would have to actually why didn't it do anything? There we go. So you can see that I'm pressing the FPC button. That's why nothing was coming out. Wow, I overlook things. So if you wanted to play the drums and also the keyboard from the same keyboard, you can do that. Yeah, you get the point. So let's say I have something already. Okay, whatever. What I can do now is that I can right click on the pattern up here and split by channel. And I have my pattern and my FPC. So now when I press play, after I did that in the song, when I press play, there's nothing happening. That's because I have to actually press the buttons to get it working. Over here, nothing. And that's pretty much it. If I wanted to loop record, you can go over here and loop record, and then overdub, which is basically when you loop record, you play one loop, and then you could play something else on top of that. And overdubbing is more like you adding on top of it. I'm assuming. I haven't done that in a while. This is all still new to me. But basically loop recording would be your best friend. And yeah, loop recording and the metronome would be your best friend. So I hope this was useful to you. And yeah. I hope to see you guys another time in the next video. And keep producing, bros.